world? It's your man Pat Caesar LLC, mobile mechanic and roadside services, and I'm in a buddy's 1989 Ford Mustang. I think it's got a 305 or maybe a 351. I'm not sure. Honestly, not sure. But he asked me to check it out, take it for a drive, see what I thought, and so that's what I'm gonna do. And we're gonna get into it right after the intro. Battery left. I want to put this quick story out here. So I asked my homie before I did any of his videos or anything like that. I'm like, hey man, do you mind if I make some pulls and make a video? We went back and forth, and finally he's like, yeah man, just make sure you don't T2 turbo my and it's an inside joke because about 15 years ago I was very heavy into rotaries and RX-7s. I got out of favor of them because I got tired of blowing the damn things up. I was reckless at one point, y'all. I was very reckless. Not the guy that you see today. Well, either way, I needed a car to go back and forth to work. And my friend at the time, good buddy named Jake, let me borrow his RX-7, which I sold him after I put like $5 grand into it for $500. He put another motor in. I was tired of seeing the damn car. I done spent thousands and thousands and lost my ass. I just wanted it out of my face. Well, either way, he says, yeah, Pat, you know, you my buddy, man. Take care of it, blah, blah, blah. I say, cool. He let me borrow it for a week. And contingent of me doing something reckless, he needed a security deposit of $1,000. Because that, well, actually, I gave him $1,300 because I'm like, I don't know, maybe like 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there at the time. And maybe a little bit older, but I'm pretty sure it was under 20. And either way, he needed it because I've been known for blowing up engines, going crazy. Because I would, you know, get a little excited and I get in it and then, you know, things happen. So either way, the 7th day of that deal, I get back to his house. I pick up one of our mutual friends and we're heading to Jake's house on an old road, something like this. And I say, hey dog, let's see what this thing got. He's like, Pat, man, I don't know, bro. I'm like, no, it'll be fine, man. It's been fine. I ain't ripped. I literally did not rip on the car the entire week. So, what do? I'm in a gear like this at 3rd gear. We're cruising, and I just give it a little bit of gas. And it was fine. I shift down to 4th gear. Do the same thing and I give it a little bit of gas, but this time it said boop. And I'm like, oh no, oh my god, and I freaked out. Well, what happened is nobody ever taught me how to properly drive, and as my first turbo vehicle I kept blowing them up because I did not have a boost gauge nor a air fuel ratio gauge. I'm mechanically inclined now because of my very expensive mistakes. Well, what happened is, as I was loading up the engine in a lower gear, my air fuels were all off. And instead of adding more fuel before I gassed it, I just gassed it under load. I went to like 20 pounds and I had no additional fuel and it leaned it out, blew the engine. It was like the 4th engine that I blew. And there were literally, you know, I was paying like $2 grand at the time. I gave him $1,300 because you can get it for 13, but you had to pay to ship it from Japan. So the moral of the story is, don't be reckless in people's stuff, for one. And for two, if you can't afford to fix it, you know, you probably shouldn't be in it. And I'm glad that my homie he trusted me to be in the car. I'm a lot more responsible now. And this is why I don't have something like this. Because all it does is take money out of my pocket. It is a liability. And it took probably, I don't know, maybe $30,000, $40,000 and me making $10 an hour to figure out that these are just liabilities. And now I know. And knowing is half the battle. What is this? Squirrel. Oh, I just saw an iguana, and we don't live in a tropical place where you should see iguanas. I didn't know if it was a snake at first because it crossed the road and it stood up like 2.5, 3 foot. But it had 4 legs, but it was skinny like a snake. Never seen that before. So yeah, either way, that was just a little bit of my personal life of how I became the guy that you see today and why I'm more conservative and how I don't spend money on reckless things like toys like this. While they're fun, you gotta pay for it. And now I know, and knowing is half the battle.